Well, today's going to be the first day that I start the new test of lowering the nitrates with sugar. Um, about 3 nights ago, I discovered I had a problem. I seen brown algae everywhere. I seen bubbles appearing everywhere. I knew there was a problem, and I immediately checked the water, and apparently somehow the nitrates jumped off the scale. And now when I say off the scale, I mean way over 160, just not even registering. I immediately did a 25% water change, waited 12 hours, did a retest, still off the scale. Did another 25 gallons of change, waited a few hours, tested again, still off the scale. Um, that just tells you how high they are. So I immediately panicked and was looking for other alternatives to lower the nitrates quick before I lost any fish or anything. And in my research, I found that there are people who are having success lowering nitrates with just regular sugar. Um, what they're doing is they're adding in a little bit at first and then bumping up the levels to where they get to where they want to get. The science is actually there for it to work. Basically, they're not adding sugar to make the water sweet or anything. They're actually adding it as a carbon to feed the bacteria that it's actually not in there normally to get it to grow. And you start out slowly. The bacteria that you're looking for is not naturally in there, so it's going to take a while to build up. And as it builds up, you should see it should start consuming the nitrates. The only problem with that is when you introduce this new bacteria, it's going to start eating or using a good portion of your oxygen in your water. So they do highly recommend that if you do this, that you have a protein skimmer to oxygenate the water. Not to skim out the because it's not going to skim out the new bacteria. It's not going to skim out the sugar, but it's going to skim. It's not even going to skim anything out. It is going to just, as you know how skimmers work, they foam the water. Now everybody knows if you have a reef tank, you've already known. You're not silly enough to believe that just because you put bubbles in water that it adds oxygen. That's not the case. What causes the oxygen to get in the water from the bubbles is the fact that it's moving. It's the movement of the water, not the actual bubbles themselves. So skimmers create a lot of movement. They oxygenate the water. Therefore, it's going to be putting back in the oxygen that the new bacteria is actually going to use. So, according to what I found, they're shooting for the first day 1/8 of a teaspoon per 25 gallons. I went a little bit above that and put a full teaspoon in last night for, as you can see, it's a 150 and a 30-gallon refuge. So I put a full tablespoon in, or full teaspoon, and that's the first night. We're going to document this and see if this actually works. By the way, I retested the nitrates as soon as I decided to attempt this, and the only reason I did decide to attempt this is because even after the water changes, as you can see here, my nitrates are still reading off the chart. Well, I would say they're in between 80 and 160 right now. So, I mean, I do intend to still do another 20% water change today. And then I want to get the nitrates going back into the orange at least, maybe at about 40. And then I'll relax and just wait to see if the sugar method works. Apparently, after about a week or two, the sugar method is supposed to keep your nitrates at 0. We'll see.